This thing is broken. Welcome in, cat. How are you? How's the day going? Last day? Emotional? No, I doubt it. Everything is broken. Everything is broken. What do you mean you're out? You're outside? In the outside? Oh my god. What happened? That is good news, I guess, to an extent, you know. I mean, it makes sense, but also it doesn't make sense. I have some news for you, kinda, not really, but you know, the usual. Um, I got four more. uh, One of them is a 1970 perfume, which I wasn't expecting to get, but she gave it to me for free. Eh, you know, it happens. It's nice. It's nice. The other things, though, everything is broken and it pissed me off. You remember? Maybe you don't remember because it's been a while now, but you remember when I was working on Can and the sync system was not working? Well, it's exactly the same thing here. I can't figure it out. I figured out half of it, which makes no sense because it's supposed to be the same thing, but for some reason it's not working. So, yeah. Jan, hi, welcome in. How are you? How's the day going? How's everything? I have some things for you. I have saved some stuff for you, and I do remember it. Cross keys, I work on it. And I'm sorry you need to hear about uh, WordPress. My condolences. I'm sorry. Techie, hi, work on it. Welcome back. Uh, you are painting the wall white again. That sounds flat, white. I don't know. I don't know. I'm currently on this right now. This is what's happening. I am planning next move, and it's been planning next move for a good uh, a good moment. It's just like cycling through things, and then it's breaking, and I hate it. So, yeah. Have I ever had to WordPress based design? Yes, ish. In the sense that I did that for roughly 12 days, and that's it. So technically, yes, but no. But technically, yes. Oh, because you usually go through the back door. I see. I see. Uh, yeah. The thing that we had in my past startup, in the past startup that I was in, the website in the beginning and still at least for longest time, was in WordPress, and we used Elementor. Yeah, Elementor thing, plugin for WordPress to build the design and the layouts and the things. So it was not uh, as complex as the thing that I'm expecting you to work on, as in working with WordPress directly. So yeah, with that in mind, what I had to work with is easy, and it's basically just Elementor is a drag and drop system, so it makes a lot more sense. The other thing that I used to use for split second was Semplice, and we talked about it before as well. Semplice is, do I have the fucking thing here? Um, is made by another cybersec time. What call it? How are you? Another designer that we like. I mean, the very popular designer von Schneider's Tobias, and basically it is the same system, but for WordPress, and you have like drag and drops and so on. So that's an option as well. But yeah, you know, um, it's eh, it's mostly for designers, so therefore there is less features and more design in there. So yeah. And Techie, you should have waited. I'm don't ask me how I know. The MX Master 4 is arriving soon, and we are expecting it to drop before Christmas, so that it can be some sort of a Christmas gift, or at least that's what I'm expecting. Personally speaking, I'm expecting that. So we'll see. But yeah, this one is the Master 3. I have the Master 3S in Japan, the white version, and this one is going to need to be replaced because it's not really good. So when the 4 is dropping, I'm getting the 4 for sure. Yeah. Have a good mother corn. Okay. Also, yes, Froskies. That's also a thing that I do kind of remember that being a thing. Um, I don't do Prime Days, so I don't know. The only thing that I know is that Prime Days are usually scams, and the price just gets inflated 2 weeks prior. So it looks like it's been a specific price and then it just goes back to the regular price. So I don't trust them. I never trusted them. And yeah. Yeah, I know that. I know that's the thing with WordPress, which is understandable, right? Um, and did you? The did you is mostly like based on the parts and the TVs themselves and how much they cost to manufacture. I think even 1K off is still too expensive for what they have been built for. But, you know, that's just me and my obsession for Chinese builders, manufacturer. Um, that's also a good question. No, for Yan, it's going to be euros or dollars. So regular money, things, pounds, So it's yeah, And yeah, so Grossies, I do I feel your pain right now, which makes sense. But yeah, uh, Gabrielix, welcome in. I feel like I've seen your name before. Do you need the studio display? No, no, no. You do not want the studio display. Uh, the thing that I'm recommending, it depends on what you are and what you do. If you are someone that is like video editing things, get a color accurate monitor and not a P3 display, which is color accurate but not that good. I mean, it is great. Don't get me wrong, it's a great monitor overall, but it's just like 5K and like for 5K you can have like a whole machine that does much more stuff. So you know, I I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. And then I don't think they will have a second version soon. Um, so yeah, that's the thing. But I doubt. Um, yeah, I doubt they will announce a new one soon, based on the fact that they haven't announced it right there on the event. So probably not gonna happen. Um, but yeah, if you're a designer, the recommendation that I have and have said every time is get yourself the shittiest monitor possible and a potentially okay one, but don't go for the best of the best of displays, which currently are the studio displays ish in terms of resolution and how they look and how you interact with them. The reason for this is most people, in the people that are going to use your tools, the thing that you're building, don't have that kind of money and don't have that kind of displays. So when you are building something and it looks amazing and it's great and the colors are super nice and vibrant and so on, and then you port that to the client's monitor and everything is washed out, everything is contrast ratio not passing, you are missing pixels because they don't have that same resolutions. That is something that I've learned really early when I worked for banks, and so basically the employees were all having 19 inches 1080p displays, and that was like a massive investment for the bank for the employees. So instead of asking and working on a very nice monitor at work, basically switched to one of theirs. Like I found one that is similar things, so that I could see exactly what my client is going to have. So that's why I'm saying get one of the shitty ones that you know. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, maybe there are things that you can tweak. And then get one that is pretty good. If you're working on a MacBook Pro, your display on the MacBook Pro is pretty good for like good color, good resolution, good things, and that's better than spending like the price of the fucking display um, in something else. But however, however, if what you're building for is iOS apps and only is iOS apps, then you don't really care about your display, like your screen display for your computer. You care about the phone that you have. Like if you are building for iOS, make sure that you have one of the shittiest displays on the iPhone, which is going to be really hard to find, and one of the good ones. So if you are rocking like a 16 Pro or something, you're good and you should be fine. If you are building for Android, that's going to be a different issue because all of them have like different resolution, different qualities. Like my chat right now on this side, Grace, hi, we're calling, is good. And this one, which is my test device, is less good, but this is a 2024 screen, and this one is a 2017 screen. So, it really depends. And then my dirty driver, which is my iPhone, is much better than both of them, but like that's a different thing. So, yeah. um, so yeah, that's the thing. I missed the entire discussion between cross keys and TypeSect. So yeah. Uh, I mean, if you are building apps, you kind of need multiple devices. Like right now, I'm trying to get back my mom's phone because she used to have a 6S, iPhone 6S, and she's currently on the 12 mini, which is the best um, phone for me as a tester, like as a someone that's building apps. The 12 mini is the shittiest of all, and so if I can have it, I will know if the thing that I'm building's all working with it. Um, so yeah, that's the thing. Um, so yeah, to answer the question of Pro Display, nah. There is a company, I forgot the name, which is really sad, but I there is like a company that I've seen. They are doing basically the Pro Display for I think that's the yeah, I think that's the one. I remember this one. Which again, this is a Chinese company, and you never know if you are going to receive the thing that you have ordered, which, I get it, it makes sense. But this one is 600 bucks, I think. I forgot. And they basically have uh the same display itself. It has a bit more border, and it's less qualitative in a way. What if you just want the look and the stand is included? So yeah, um, yeah, it's 800 bucks for the same thing. So based on where you are, it's probably an option. Again, it's one of these things where I don't know if I can trust it, and they have plenty of options, but because I don't know if it's trustable, it's kind of hard to recommend. But it exists. That's what I'm saying, basically. Um, but yeah. Mm-hmm. That's weird. I mean, at least you are the same height, so you blend in. Maybe, Turkey, maybe. I don't know. Also, I'm not sure that your card would be accepted because of, you know, the usual for you. Where's that? Goddamn. Canna, hi. It is. It is some sort of a cheese grater, yes. Why is my nose itchy today? Right now, right this instant. That makes no sense. Oh, but yeah, this one is good as well. Um, I do remember that it didn't work with my setup, and I'm annoying. But yeah, these are good. If I had to, I would probably go with something like this. Right now, the question and the other things, which that's a designer thing and streamer thing. Having a 24-inch or 27-inch display is way too big for having it on display. And so, like, having it here it requires me to all the time zoom in. And so if I had something that was a 27-inch, 32-inch display, it just would take too much space. I would have so much more room to grow and do things. But when I'm talking about like code or Figma, which I think I closed on this one, um, I just wouldn't be able to do anything. I wouldn't be able to necessarily like zoom in, zoom out, and do the things properly for you to see things. So yeah, that's the that's the issue. But this one is good. Dell is pretty good in general. I do like what they're doing. It's just that, as always, as someone that has worked in manufacturing and things, I don't trust these. They are written as good, and on paper it's nice, but then in practice, most of the time there are some just the frequency these pre the differences. God damn. But yeah, um, that's good. That is good. The thing that I had like before, and I don't think I would have any of this here. I have doubts. Bitch, get out. God damn. Uh, I used to have this one, the 34-inch, and I used to have the previous version of the 24. Um, like not these ones, but like the interior with the previous stand, this one. And I had four of these. No, three of these. I had three of these because every time, kinda, um, I receive one, it has the right colors for a bit of seconds, and then it starts glitching because of macOS. That's a macOS thing. That's not a Dell thing or Alienware thing. And then I have to change the display, and then they send me a new one, and I do the same thing, and it glitched the same way after like 6 months, and I have to get a new one. And so I had three, and then I sold it because it's just um, and yes, and then I just used the box to hold cables, and it was good. It was a nice footrest, to be honest. Uh, it worked. It was neat. But I'm still like a big fan of Alienware in general. I do think that most of their stuff is really good, but they are a bit more expensive than the Dell, and then the Dell are just the same panels without the branding. So yeah, we like this. We like this as well. Um, yep, exactly. Still none. Still none. Um, you would die around here. The main monitor is my MacBook Pro 15-inch display. That's all I have. I have nothing else. Um, so yeah, no freelancing either. I'm just floating right now. That's what's happening. I have this, and it's broken, but I have this. I have some news, but these are news that you can't see, which is kind of sad. These are things that I've built that you don't have the ability to see what is the difference, what is the change, what has changed, because it's anything that is going into the background of the app, into sync system. But yeah, that's the thing that I'm currently working on. It seems to be pretty near the end. I just need to fucking figure out how to sync the thing. So all that section with CloudKit right here needs to have um, something that works, and that's not the case right now. So uh, yeah. I think you haven't used it because I mean, To me, nothing is bothering me at all. Most of the design choices that they've made is debatable at times, but like I'm not I don't live in the system. Like my day-to-day life is not going into the settings page or uh, any of the native apps. I'm using my own apps, and I mean my own apps, the one that I build, but also the one that people build. And if I'm on Threads, for example, I'm gonna see Threads stuff, which is like titties as always. If I'm on Twitter, it's gonna be the same thing. I'm not gonna go there because for reasons. But it it's just the interface is not necessarily Liquid Glass slash iOS 26 inspired, and therefore it's absolutely fine. Like the menu is good, the tray for the notification is fine. I don't have anything to say about it other than if you use your phone as a phone and not as something else, you shouldn't see the system, like, or you shouldn't be bothered by the system. But then again, I've reached the point where customization and personal stuff um, don't matter in the slightest to me when it comes to my phone. I need my phone to work, and that's it. So I love these ones because, like, Xiaomi is really good for me. They do the system as I like it. They have all of the thing that I like to have in an Android phone. It works well. We like them. My other phone is a Xiaomi phone as well. The one that I have in Japan is an Oppo phone because I like ColorOS in general. Not necessarily all the time, but like in general, I do like it. And so overall, it's just nice to just have the thing. That's a you issue though. That is a you issue. That's interesting. I don't think we have that. Also, you are using your phone in light mode? What the fuck? How? Yeah, no, I don't have that split that you're showing me in the screenshot. And on the second screenshot, you're showing me just that, which is understandable, but yeah. Um, Maybe it's the reduced transparency that you have that breaks it, but to be honest, um, yeah, but that's like it's as if you were saying, I'm trying to click on something, but like I don't understand why it has this blue ass background around it. Um, that's because you're using the accessibility features. So you can't complain about the design being less good if you're using accessibility features that are meant to make the design less inaccessible. Like that, hey, that's on you. Um, but yeah, no. If I look at the system, um, you know, it's just uh, it's just working. Specifically, if you're on dark mode, like if you're on dark mode with a dark background, you're good. Stony, hi, welcome. Um, I don't know why you have a line though. That's the that's the thing. I do not know. I do not know. I saw a message 1 second. Um, I think you said, Jan, you said that you wanted. God damn, Dapshi, welcome back. How are you? Most of the time is on vacation since I have a heart condition now, so I'm trying to not do that too much. But welcome back. And how are you? Multitasking, that's the thing. Yes. Most of the situation is that I do think that most of the Android platforms and stuff are better for a ton of the features that are in the day-to-day productivity things. So if you are someone that likes to have multitasking and so on, that's good. And Android is going to be potentially better than iOS for the thing. If you are more on the communication style things, then iPhone is going to be not the best, but like it's working. It does the job, and that's fine. Again, if my regular phone wasn't dying as soon as I plug it off, like right now, it is on the charger and it's draining because it has the screen on and I can see the percentage go down. So that's bad. But if I could, I would use it because it's much better for me and for the thing that I like. So yeah, that's the situation. If you are expecting or debating potentially moving back to Android instead, or moving to Android if you haven't been there in the past, um, it's I think it's a good idea. I don't think there is any downsides anymore like there used to be, but now there is no real downside on both sides for regular users. For power users, there are downsides on both sides, and these are just things that needs to be changed or tackled or fixed by the user themselves, like the reduced transparency, for example, is something that the user can decide. But yeah, most of the time, you should be fine. You should be fine. But yeah, let me go. Let me fetch the thing. Um, Continuity is really good. Yes, agreed. I don't think Android is better or worse than the iPhone design wise in terms of system, like UI related. And I don't think the Android or iPhone, like which side it doesn't like, it's the same for me. I don't think there is one that is better than the others when it comes to the design of the outside either. I think the Android have more variety in terms of shapes and what you can find, like this bitch ass dual camera thing that is a massive element for this Android phone compared to this one that is like just a basic, classical um, classical thing. I think the latest iPhone is kind of bad in terms of what they call the plateau. I don't like it personally. But then again, I don't look at the back of my phone. I look at the front of my phone. So it's as long as the fucking screen is good, we're good. Same thing for the Android one. Same thing for the Android one. It's just it doesn't make any sense to think about the rest. Like as long as it's comfortable in my hands and I can use it and everything makes sense, I'm kind of I'm kind of fine with it. Um, yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Um, we kind of stopped right there, which is exactly where I started to save things for you, yeah, which is pretty good. But we click on that first. That's an image. That's a video. That's worse. Yeah, I Why not? I'm gonna be honest. I would be. Uh, I would have been so happy to see that in the beginning days of Android for me, for sure. I'm not saying that it's bad, right? Again, it's fine. It's good. I think it's nice. I think it's worthless. It doesn't add anything, but in the beginning when I started, I'm gonna go back here. In the beginning when I started to work with Android and basically play with it and have one on the daily, my routine was to change the ROM, change the style, have icon packs, change the fonts, see how much customization it could have, and then one day I kind of stopped, and it turned into I need my phone to phone, and that's it. It needs to do the thing that it's supposed to do and not be in total shamble all the time and not sure if the ROM that I picked today is gonna be able to have calls or pay or do other things. And yeah, after that, I kind of stopped and used like the native stuff, and that was like roughly 2016. I kind of stopped, so it's been 10 years, I would say. Um, and since then I really haven't, let's say 2017, 9 years, haven't really used any ROM, any new styling. The only thing that I'm doing again on this one is the launchers as well. Yeah, that's something that I kind of stopped using. There was a ton that I liked a lot, but it disappeared. The only thing that I'm doing most of the time is this, because this is the only thing that makes sense. In the new version of iOS 26, the glass icon is basically the best mode when you have a black background for minimalist people and people that don't have or don't want to be distracted. Um, that's that's the only thing, and that's the only theming that I'm doing. So yeah, yeah. I think the ah we're gonna go back to the same fucking thing as last time. Building an app for iOS, right? You build an app for iOS, you have this, and this one isn't, but you follow or you use the native components of iOS. So the thing that the system is providing, if I have, like, let's go into my settings because these are mostly native stuff. This view is roughly system-based things. Tickle, hi, welcome on in. Have a good luck. And that makes sense. When I'm looking at it now, I'm like, damn, that looks old. I need to update this entire app to support iOS 26 and so on. But like this is non-native native, so it's uses the system behavior that people are familiar with a bit of a twist of design. In the new one, I'm using as much like native behaviors as possible. So native navigation bar, native plus button at the top. If there is a search that is supposed to be in a very specific position, is going to be where it's supposed to be, and so on. So most of the navigation systems, most of the views are going to have the native interface because that is what people are used to. And so that makes sense. The reason for this, and I said that before, and I will say that again. When you're building in SwiftUI or in UIKit or in whatever, in Xcode, you can simply have something like this view, for example. This is almost a native view for the store, where that thing at the bottom, which obviously the contrast ratio doesn't work on stream, but it works in reality, is pulling the price for the region, it's pulling the data of the subscription or the information of the thing that you are about to buy from the store itself. And all of that is native from the system. If I'm going into my home view, it's pulling the data from the weather kit with the weather at the top. It's pulling the data from the location as well. And it's doing all of that by the system, through the system. And I don't have to think about it. Like if I want the weather, I just import weather kit. If I want a map, I import map kit. And I'm done with it. If I want a fucking map on an Android app natively, I would just I need to have a Google Map API with a key, and I would have to pay for that on a monthly basis based on usage. So I would say that the reason why most iOS apps feel natural and feel familiar when you're moving between the apps, like if I'm going into some of the latest app that I've added to the collection, this one is an iOS 26 news, so it's a Korean app for your wallet kind of thing. It feels natural. If I'm going into this one, which is kind of similar, it has, um, you know, it has most of the systems, most of the things the same way they work, like natively, because it is built this way. If I'm going into, I don't know, high tea, it's similar-ish. It's not exactly identical, but it's similar. You have the tab bar at the bottom. You have the thing that you're expecting to be in the top left, top right, uh, are there where they are supposed to be, and therefore it feels kind of natural and so on. So that is what makes it easier for everyone. So yeah. The financial one is Fluxnote, but also the other one that I'm using is Pocketo, which is a Chinese app for your transaction. Otherwise, if you want something that is better, I would still recommend Orbit. Orbit is really good for your transaction and your subscription tracking. Um, like if you just like it, and also it looks really good. It's you can see that it's built by a designer. The last one is going to be Sudo or Subo, which is Subo technically, which is, you know, the same system, the same ID. It's a subscription-based app, which I'm just testing them out. Most of them are okay, but most of them are doing the same thing and they are missing the point. So yeah, um, yeah, that's kind of sad. That is kind of sad. Oh yeah, right, Lottie. So yeah, that's the thing. But I'm testing so many apps that yeah. Right now, for example, this one popped in, which is called B-roll. B-roll is an app to track your movies and TV shows watching, right? So it's similar, and I used it. I downloaded it because Tony is working on something that is similar in a way, um, as in it's a media player situation. So I need to see how these ones are doing it, and it's okay. It's not good though. It has like a ton of thing that could be implemented and improved a lot. They have good views here and there in terms of how they have displayed things, but they also have some very, very bad issues. But yeah. Yeah, there is also the other one that Ollie recommended, and I've forgotten the name. But yeah, this one is free for now. This one is in test flight for now, so it's free until, I don't know. They are using the same thing. They're using the MovieDB and Just Watch to track things. So that's pretty good, but that basically implies that with these two, there will probably be some cost that they need to to have later on. So yeah, it's things. And going back to the illustration side, I sent a DM to one of my stream friends, I would say. She hasn't streamed in like a year and a half, if not more. But she is doing a ton of illustration, and I feel like she would be really good for what I'm looking for right now. So, oh, for fuck's sake. Let me just load the profile. That's cute as fuck. Sorry, 1 second. A pair of cheeks. I can't really pass it out. So, Kaz is doing a lot of illustration, but she's been doing things and illustration when it comes to flowers and organic material in the past that are really good and are, for me, really matching with what I would love to have in the app as illustrative background element for like the notes and so on. And so I'm expecting potentially, if she is available, which I don't know, she's been kind of yeah MIA for a while. But yeah, it's really good. I wish we had the fucking, yeah, look at that fucking cow. That's sort of the first thing that I discovered her with. I mean, not really, but like, this is great. And she's been doing really, really good for flowers and organic elements. And I feel like there is something with it that is really, really nice. That's about it. There was a tomato at some point, and I think I passed it. And the tomato is also something like the style of the tomato and the style of the food related elements are really nice. Like these are jagged edges with very square brushes, and I feel like these outputs could match with breaking the background of the app that I'm building right now to make it better or more interesting, I guess. Because it's nice. You know. Yeah, as always. Yes. However, I've been saying I have things for Yan, so I need to show the thing that I have. So we had this, which was an interesting concept of a scroll appear. And I was thinking for you specifically, Yan, with your grid, if you have a grid of 3, which I think you do at some point, you could have that on appear when it loads in to get like all these arcs and then just get the graded masonry grid as you currently have, and that would be good. But yeah, just that loading would be pretty interesting. Not saying that it's like the best option nor the most practical thing, but it's fun. Uh, we've had the other thing where this is starting to become a pattern. I'm going through because I know where it is. This is starting to become a pattern, which means that these vibrant colors are coming back. So, as I've been saying for the past 6 to 8 months, pastel is coming back. The designers that have seen that pastel was coming back are now fed up with pastels, and they're going back to vibrant colors, specifically acid. And so I'm seeing a lot more of acid colors like these in my day-to-day feed. So, you know, we will have some startups at the beginning of 2026 being mostly pastels. And then at the end, a lot of people will go back to acid. Then we will go back to saturated, but not acid colors. And then we'll go back to pastel like we always do. But yeah, it's a nice thing to see as a development. That is crazy though. That looks like. Did I see that? I probably have. Um, but yeah, yep, it is. It is. It is. So it's coming back, which is pretty interesting. And shit like this, as always. You see the fucking, you know, ASCII text. This is a pattern as well. So Bogdan was saying, "Are you a fan of this style?" Exactly that style. Yes, 100%. Um, and so this is reminding me of what you have, Jan, in your bottom navigation things when you have multiple images. I think you had that, but I'm not sure. Maybe I was wrong and I forgot. Could happen. Uh, but yeah, so this is the same thing. The fact that they are asking, "Are you a fan of this style?" means that this is a style that has been seen multiple times in the past for them, and they have noticed that it was a style that people were either liking or interacting with. So, what does it mean and what is this style? It's basically very white or very black with a slight pastely background colors in blobs. So around things, this is based on a shadow. There is one around here which is based on this thing. There is a bit of color around the picture, and there is a bit of a gradient in purple around the button. So there is what we would call bleed around the elements that have colors to radiate elements and interest or point of interest. That's interesting. And it is a pattern for the past year, for sure. Like that's a thing that we've seen so many. And this one is the one that I had for you, yeah, specifically. Exactly this thing. So the main reason is because this is using Expo, and I guess Techie, that would be good for you as well. Hey,
Animation's
huh?
just resubscribed for 36 months.
36. We're going through it. We're going through it. Welcome on in. Thanks so much for the resub. How are you? How's the day going? And so on. You bought this? Goddamn. So, yeah. This one was pretty interesting, potentially good for you, Jan, and you, Techie, as much. Um, because, you have these types of navigations. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Groski's, the design cycle is very, very simple. We run through things, specifically in color scheme, we run through things in cycles, and we just define what the next thing is going to be. So I appreciate it, Kane. I appreciate it. And it's usually like opposite. So you are in one segment of the wheel, and then you go to the opposite, or one that is adjacent-ish to the opposite, and then you bounce back to another, and so on. And the goal is basically you do that on the wheel, and at some point, because we only have like 8 points on that fucking wheel, we go back to the first one. And it's just people are fed up with the current trend, they move to the opposite, and then they get fed up with the opposite and they move to an opposite adjacent, and so on. So yeah. um Oquiz, 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 welcome. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? Thanks a lot for chatting. I appreciate it. The textual theme is because we talk about a lot of things, but also I say fuck a lot. And yeah, that's part of the high profanity, which implies I need the fucking, you know, title. Also, thanks a lot for the fucking hype train. What the fuck happened? What is this? What is this? Why is this happening? Um, yeah, this one is really good as well. And we do like these as well. Like I personally do. Um, I could go into a pool in designing, but I don't think that's something you want to see. I mean, maybe. Uh, but yeah, this is really good. I like this a lot. I think overall it brings some important things. I was really sad about the fact that these have died. The blingy GIFs generators have been closed. And I was looking to generate some of these. And I couldn't. I'm so sad. So yeah. I remember all of these MSN whizzes and other things. So yeah. I feel like there is another thing that I didn't click on. Dang. Yes. Isn't this the thing that you can just basically import and copy paste based? I mean, you would have the code directly, right? That's the thing. That's it. Yes. Yes. Um yeah. But it is not good. Yeah. It's good to have like the entirety of the code and the availability of what you have, what you could have, could use, and so on. But also fucking paid again, huh? Do I really need to? Yeah. The thing is, we have something similar. We talked about it before, but we have something that is similar for Framer. We have something that is similar for Tailwind. I think there is one that we shared on Discord 3 to 4 months ago. And yeah, but they are useful. No question about this. This is really, really good when you don't have the skills or when you don't want to bother building these. So, yeah. What do you think of the new battle between the ones that used to be like brothers? What do you mean? I am confused. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Um, oh, I think Framer is gonna take the cake in the long run based on gut feeling and nothing else. Um, I think Figma is probably dead. I know, but the enthusiasm of designers toward Figma has been going down since the beginning. Like we've been hyping it from 2016 to 2021, 2022, roughly. We basically were hyping it, and then 2020 we were like, well, there is COVID, so we get it. 2021 it kind of reached the top, and like the announcement were like not that good, and then 2022 was like, okay, bro. And then 2025 was just like, all right, anything that we've asked for though? And yeah, so I don't think Squarespace is gonna win though, based on the fact that Squarespace like it's not that good. And then Wix is probably gonna win-ish because they've been there for longer than Squarespace, kinda, but not really. Um, and I haven't tried the design pages in Framer yet. So if you don't know, Framer just announced the design pages inside of Framer. God damn, who would I thought? And so what it is basically Figma inside of Framer directly. The good thing that they have done is that design pages are free and unlimited. Whereas Figma, you have unlimited projects, but you have 3 pages per project. It's an infinite Canva, so you basically have an infinite Canva and you can organize it as you want and you can live on one page and it's fine. But for the sake of what they are doing, basically giving you the ability to create some designs, test some things, and then move into design flow and say, well, I can now simply just design stuff inside of Framer. And if I have exactly what I want, I can just press a button and turn that into my release candidate. So you can just explore and do many, many things inside of the tools until you just reach the point where you're like, oh yeah, I like this version, let's use this version instead, and that's going to be fine. Their implementation of AI assistant to generate pages inside of the view is much better than what Figma has done. Their implementation of AI component builders is extremely useful based on, what they have done. Their CMS and the fact that they can just click publish and then it's on the web is much better than what Figma has. And so every single thing that they have released, God damn it. Yeah, have a good rest of today. Every time, every fucking time when I have things for you, you need to go. Take care of yourself. And so if you just compare, for me at least, it's just I'm more comfortable in Figma because I'm used to the interface and I know how to use the tools and so on. But in terms of points and score, like rating each of the tools, Framer in every single category is just 3 points higher than Figma. So the design, I haven't tested it, but like the release to like publish now is 10 point higher. Personal domain, same thing. The components system is way more organized in Framer than it is in Figma. Even though I do love what Figma has done, some of the thing of Framer, which is like similar to Sketch, is better in a way. So overall, I I do think Framer is going to win in the long term. And then if you just go into the thing that I kind of talked about, that's fun for me. I like the fact that they started officially on July 31st at like 120 on the release day, and then it went up, and then it's been crashing since. And with the sentiment that I have, and the sentiment that most people have in terms of designers that use Figma, well, like, yeah, we understand why it's just going down, and we understand why it's probably going to go down further than this very soon. There is a probability of it just bouncing back, but I doubt it. And even though it's not on this chart, I just want to remind everyone that it say that it started at 120. In reality, it started at 33 per share. 33 per share is what they have accepted from the banks to list them on the official like stock market and so on. So everyone at Figma got their shares bought back basically at 33 per share, and then they kept a portion and so on. And then the market decided to release them at, I think, 90. So three times, or technically $60. There's more, but yeah, like 200% above what they had already. And so that was the valuation at 1 billion. But then that valuation just went back down almost immediately when we went back drastically to like 40-ish in no time. So yeah, that's the that's the thing. So you know, it's it has had a valuation of 1 billion, but you know, not not for a long time. Basically, not for more than 3 days. Like we were at 79 or 80 exactly on the 5th, which is like almost a week later. And so that's crazy. It makes sense though. If you look at other things, if I look at Adobe stock, for example, you will see that based on when it started, it was really low, but it was like at 22 cent in 86. And it's still at 360 and it's still up. And I doubt that the shares um, for Figma will ever reach like 200, 400-ish. Not that it means anything, other than people are not really interested in the tool. But yeah, um, like that's the thing. So for me, uh, based on the stock and based on what they have showcased overall, the fact that we've been asking for things for years. Again, I've been working with Figma or in Figma since 2018, 2017-ish. I started the first time in 2016, but then I gave up and went back in 2017 and gave up again, went back in 2018. So back and forth, but like let's say 2018, so that's not that much. Since then, most of the community have been asking for things that we haven't seen, things that are common and default in CSS or in SwiftUI or in other dev things. And right now, they have decided to build something that is meant for print in a digital world, and that makes no sense. The fact that they have Figma Draw and that Figma Draw is their new baby and that's the thing that they want to push as much as they can, you end up with a feature that just doesn't bring anything to the regular designer environment. That's bullshit. Like the designers want things that are gonna help them communicate with the devs or help them go faster, and they have tried with the AI creation of Figma Make, but what is the output, at least from my point of view, is always the same. The Figma Make things is just bad. That's the first reason. But also, it doesn't give you anything. Like, you don't have the ability to then go into the code and really edit the things manually. Like, you do have the ability, but you don't really have the ability. Is it crashed for everyone? No. It's just crashed for you. Okay. Also, hi on YouTube. It's fine on my side. Just refresh the page. Maybe it's dead. It's not dead. It's fine. So yeah, that's the thing. So in my point of view, um, Figma is kind of dead. And again, as I've been saying that for a bit now, this is my tool of choice, or it's basically like where I spend my days and have a good rest of your household chore situation, Stone. Um, I haven't touched Figma. Like the only times that I'm touching Figma for real is is uh that, yeah, no, it's it's fine. And so most of the thing that I'm doing is in Figma is just like a micro sketch or something, and I haven't really used it for a split second or anything. So it's debatable. That is long. Makes no sense. Yeah, shit like this. So that's the like right now, for example, I'm using Figma to do this. I'm listing all of the illustration I need for the app. And the reason why I can do that here, or I'm doing this here, is because it is faster than uh, anything else to use this right here. But yeah, that's the thing. I have dropping frame apparently right now. How can you say 150 is 0%? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not really using Figma per se. Anytime, anywhere, anyways. So yeah, it happens. It happens. Um, it's mostly because of this. I'm gonna blame everything that is currently running for no reason. I shouldn't have done that. Well, that's fine. Nox, hi, welcome on. How are you? Um, it is, but FigJam doesn't have Nisa in the in here. Like this plugin is so useful for me that yeah, it's just better if I use it here. That don't worry about it. Basically, what I'm saying is just Figma being not responding to the designers. Um, like again, we've been asking for the ability to say this thing is 16% of the view. This thing is going to be fixed at 40%. This thing is a 100 VH, like very much the basics of web design. But no, there was something in Sketch in 2016. They announced that in 2014, 15, a long time ago. Basically what they did was when you started a new project, you said basically, I need this project for iOS. I want this project for the web, or and so on. And what that did was basically predefine the the export options. So if I selected something and I clicked on export plus right here, it would have given me the things that are specific for iOS at the time, specific for Android at the time. And that was really useful overall because, it just makes things go faster. But right now, for example, we do have Similar thing in Figma. If we move into dev mode, which is not accessible for everyone, and now you have the MCP right here, which makes absolutely no sense. And you kind of want to see things in a specific type of language, and therefore you could pre-select and say, well, I need this in SwiftUI, right? That's the plan. But that's it. And all right, be careful. Don't clear the chat. And all of these things that we've been asking for, like VH, percentage, Ms, Rems, color variables, which is pretty good, but also inside of the variable situation, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think this one is a good idea, Story. I feel like you might have some issues there. But yeah. Yeah, like the fact that if I go into my variable section, technically I don't have anything. I can only create a color, number, string, or boolean. But if for some reason I wanted a percentage, like a percentage variable, which is something that exists, right? It's a percent. It makes sense. It's a fucking percent. You should be able to just select that as a number, and you change that, and it would be good. But no, if you wanted to do that, you need to basically create 100 variables going from 0 to 100, which is 101, to make sure that you have all of your percentage. If you want all of your opacity variable for your colors, for example, you need to do the same thing. You can't assign a number variable to a specific thing, and it's kind of weird. It just pissed me off. I know I would probably see it, but I'm just thinking about this, Stony. I mean, this being that will probably work now. But like, if I have these things and I use the second one, which I just tried, which doesn't work. God damn it! Does this one work now? It doesn't work. God damn it! No, nothing works. One day the stream deck would be okay. I know that if I kill it, it's probably gonna die entirely, so I'm not gonna do that. Does that work now? Nope. Who's this? So yeah, like there is a ton of things that we are asking for inside of Figma, that we have been asking for inside of Figma, and they are publishing Figma Draw and Figma Make and Figma MCP, and it's just, yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, I would say that's the thing. If you you can't really, you can't really scope variable to layer opacity, like just the opacity. You can't. You can. You can create a color variable with opacity, but not necessarily a variable for the opacity itself. Like if I go into, let's say I have a fucking rectangle right there, and then I add a color variable of any choice. This one, I would be able to have my opacity variable to be linked to a number, But again, it needs to be one of the numbers that I have defined. So it needs to be a number from 0 to 100 in that entire thing to say, well, this is going to be 6%, or this is going to be something else, and so on, to figure out like exactly what I need to have. Like maybe it needs to be 24% and I have a 24, so it's good. But that's like 100 variable for no fucking reason because it's a number. A number is supposed to just work and be there and, work. But if you go into the element itself, like you unselect this thing, and I'm just going into the opacity right here, I cannot add like a variable to this element right here, which is exactly what I need to do. So my example every time is when you're building a color palette, and I'm using red because it's the easiest to use, and I want a color palette that's just gonna be lighter or darker based on the base. So let's say we have 80%, 60%, 40%, 20%, and then the last one is usually like 10% or 8% or something, but like whatever here. If I'm getting this into a container that has a white background, I now have my color palette variable with my opacities, and it's done. And I have the entire thing. I have my lightest color and my darkest colors, and we good. And we don't have anything to do about it. It's just, the palette is done. This one is matching because it's matching, but yeah. It's just, if I wanted to do this, I would need each of these percentage of opacity things to be defined. It's just, ugh. But yeah, not having like the ability to just create a number variable in a way that makes sense, which can't happen. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't. Yeah, I don't like it. So there is so much that should happen. There is so much that would make more sense. There is things specifically in variables that, again, should basically be, and I've been saying that for a long time, anything that is in Figma is supposed to be web-based because it's a web browser that gives you the ability to get playful on a Canva. This fucking thing is a Canva, but the rest is basically Chrome. If you didn't know, you can just open the console, and you are in the Chrome DevTool stuff. Like that is, exactly what we had. So that, um, cross keys. I'm reading the thing. 1 second. You looked up when I move my layout to the side cam. I was going to ask what happened and why you had a big scab on the forehead, but it was just, oh, it was things on your monitor. Well, I still have something on the forehead, so that's a thing. That is a thing. Sorry, I'm dyslexic, and reading is hard. Reading is really hard. So again, going back to what I was about to say, and I apparently failed to say things. If you have a font that has regular, medium, semi-bold, bold, blank, heavy, whatever, you could create a text variable that basically match these. The issue is that these values don't really mean anything if you are in a different font. Like a regular in a different font might be non-existent. Maybe on a certain font it's called body. Maybe a medium is called medium on most fonts, but then one of them doesn't have medium, so medium can't work. And what has been used in Android and other platforms to have the palliative things is using numbers. So your regular is going to be 400 or 500, depending on who you are, but like usually 400 is your body text, and then you go up to 900 and so on. So that's a value that could be added, but you can't really implement that as a variable inside of Figma and then switch to things. You could, however, if you knew that everything was the exact same thing, have a font variable by stating, for example, here that this thing and that font right here was specifically using a sub variable inside. So if I'm just unlinking it, I could change this one to be a variable and then to select one of my font weight by default inside of the font weight situation, which is right about here. That on its own is a potential, but it's just a mess. And I like it doesn't work. It works, but it doesn't work for my brain. Mizi, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? How is everything? The thing that I hate though the most about
Maya
Figma
can
and
just
stuff
resubscribed for
is
2 months. Lel AAOA yes.
thanks a lot for the resub. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you. For me, Figma should provide what the devs is going to be able to do. And if I can do something in Figma, I'm expecting the devs to be able to do the thing in code as well. If something is done in code, I'm expecting to be able to do it in Figma on a surface level. Like I know that the thing that are done in code might not be available in Figma and so on. So that's the main thing. But that's
SLLRSM
really,
is now following.
you know, I trying to read your name, but that's like hard. SL? I guess SL is gonna be fine. Welcome on in. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? Thanks a lot for the follow. Appreciate it. So we want the thing to work the same way that the code is working. So if I have something in here, for example, that is defining color dot mix, which is our regular example on each of these sessions, then like color dot mix with white by 0% or by 0.2, which is 20%, and so on, with the gradient ability on it, that's like native Swift UI, I am expecting myself to be able to create something very similar inside of Figma, just because it, it will make more sense to be able to do such thing. But no, Figma doesn't allow me to do the thing that the code is able to do. It's allowing me to do things that the code is not able to do, as in the best option representation is this. The fact that glass effect and like all of these things are also that is broken again. Yeah. God damn. God damn. Like all of that should be something that Figma is providing me because the liquid glass that's the reason. But my dev is not able to recreate this. Like right now, unless they are on iOS, they don't have the ability to do that. They cannot create a liquid glass element that reacts similarly to what Figma has created. And so that to me is a big mistake from Figma side, because we end up with stuff that output well but doesn't render at all. This is really this is a cool rendering though, but it's not an option. What's your Muslo? Mustlo? You're probably in there somewhere. No. Yes? Yes. I have seen that. Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. You're doing a lot of design stuff, which is good. Welcome on in. Good post right there. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen that in the past. But yeah. So again, like overall, my main point in what Figma is doing and why Figma is dead to me is I've been asking since 2018, roughly, for things that are to me native or should be native, and it's still not there. And they are pushing other things, and they are building new platforms and new things that bring more confusion, that was very French, more confusion to the main users, and they are catering to a specific type of user base that they don't really have, but they do have. And I get it, right? They are mostly going to cater to the enterprise people, because that's where they are paid the most. But if you are into building something that is good for the people that use it, profit is not necessarily something that you want. And so that's one of the reason as well, where I always have and probably always will kind of hate the companies that are taking venture capital money and stuff. Like if you do a fundraising, it basically means that your product is not your product anymore. And because Figma has made many in order to sustain itself until they could be IPO'd, they basically don't own anything. So anything that they are building is in order to make profit to, give back to the stakeholders, and that pissed me off. I hate it. Yeah, it's trying to do everything. I do understand that, it needs to go through the system of the current trend, the current tools in order to stay relevant is going to be AI related, code assistant and AI helped design generation, which makes sense. But if they had stayed in, we understand that the communication in between the devs and the designers needs to happen. We know that our designers want to have some sort of like ability to create a prototype that the dev could basically implement in one click. So we are creating like an AI that generate the code based on the design. Why not? But then they add Figma Draw, which is basically the illustrative type, which makes sense, right? We need illustration, as we see every fucking time I go on TD Land right there. Any goddamn that timing. Every time we have like a website that is Chinese based, we will have illustration that are way more powerful than before and way more detailed than what we are potentially expecting from other places. And these are things that Figma Draw basically allow now. Like you can kind of create some of these illustration way easier. So that makes sense. but it's also not necessarily what you wanted to do in the first place. So that's the sad part. This is cool. Cool. Um, it's not that terrible, to be honest. It really has a lot of potential, and it is not everything, but like most of the things that Illustrator was in version 2 in 86, 87, 87. Um, so, you know, they're a bit late. Just, just a smidge. Just a smidge. But then going back to, illustration, and even though that's not Chris, that is an amazing photo modding. Um, the the thing that is kind of sad for me, but also I do understand it, but it kind of is sad, is this is probably an AI generated things. So that these cats look like kind of AI generated based on the fact that some of the things are smudged together and so on. But when you look at it from afar, the illustration is pretty good. It has some interesting things, and this is an illustration that is you can tell that it's not like AI generated for now. Um, but most of the thing that I'm gonna see are potentially available in Figma. Like that might be done in Figma. I doubt it, but nowadays it could be. And these are stuff that could really much be done through an AI generation of something. And therefore, I don't know if Figma Draw makes any sense. Like these birds, which I love every time I'm seeing this app, it's pretty cool, have something about them that is really cool. And they are doing like a ton of these in again, these might be AI generated, might be user generated. Right now I don't really know. Um, but the creation nonetheless is available on both. Like you can create something that is really good on Figma Draw, and you can also create something that is really good on paper, and then you can potentially create something that is really good in AI generated environment and be good with it. It really depends on your goals and your values and what you want to do and so on. But yeah, you love FigJam, do you? See, that's an amazing thing, to be honest. Like the fact that you can create something like this with Figma Draw is pretty nice. Like that's kind of wild. And that means that this is vector based and you can have all your stuff in there good. So, eh, that's the congrats, by the way, Turkey, on this one because it's really good. That's a lot of fucking layers, though. It is really cute. And again, going back to zooming in, it gives you so much of the details and the textures and things that makes all of that such a human warm illustration. Therefore, it makes sense. Um, I do absolutely agree with you with uh, the RAM and the fact that things are breaking. I don't know if I still have it. Let me see if profile is somewhere. I doubt it. It might be in one of my alternate site. But yeah, no, I mean, we've seen the car, you know. We're gonna go there anyways. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. Same thing. Like this is less complex in a way, because, you know, way less layers, but still, uh, way less layer, not really. If you count any of the fills as a separated layers, then way more layers in total. But, you know, that's the thing. But yeah, that whole thing is one of the stuff that we did in the beginning, and this is made before Figma Draw was a thing. And it's missing things. It's missing some texture, it's missing some transitions, it's missing some elements, like, for example, here at this whole thing could highly benefit from um, a layer blow that is taking a progressive blow, going vertically, and just have like the whole thing in a way that makes sense. Apparently, I can't go into progressive for some reason. So, like that's the type of thing that could be added, could be implemented in order to make these illustrations a bit better, but that's not necessary. And um, yeah, no, I know. So what you just said is not feasible. Let me explain. Figma is capped at 2 gigs per file maximum. So you run out of RAM in the file itself, and I have one file for this. Salma's file is basically just breaking all the time, and anytime I'm just loading things, specifically the second view, that's not the thing that I'm looking for. Um, where's the fucking memory usage? Right there. The memory usage right now on this file is 9%. 9%. And then if I go here and then go into alerts and decide to potentially zoom in on these and add what was in place in the first place, which is basically a stroke around this, it just crashed. Like, I just wanted a stroke around the font. That's all I asked for. But that's not an option. And it is always the same. Like, it's always the same thing. It crashed in the exact same spot, and it makes a lot of sense because it is a lot of nodes. But based on what we had in the previous version and in what, like, what has been defined in Figma Draw, what I asked for right here should be a thing that is done easily because this is a basic Figma Draw feature. But no, it just fails. So yeah, but yeah, RAM usage is like 2 gig per file, and yeah, you might max it out on the file, but again, like, I used to be on Sketch. Again, I have played with all the tools. I used to be on Photoshop in the very beginning, and then I moved to Illustrator when some of my devs in the agency that I was working on said, I want this, but in vector form, because we need this to be scalable. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to use Illustrator instead of Photoshop because that makes more sense. Then I was hired in another agency and said higher, or different agency said, oh, we don't use Illustrator here, we use Sketch. So I moved to Sketch, and then I moved to the last company, like startup thing, and in there I was in Sketch, obviously. Then Figma looked pretty cool, and I transferred everything in Figma in like a week and a half without telling anyone. And then after that, it made sense, right? I had everything in Figma, and we moved to Figma. We didn't have a choice. So that's basically what happened. I used Flash, yes. I used Flash when I was in school. I made some of my first games in Flash. I made a Brick Breaker, if that's the name. I don't know, it's called a casse break in French. I made Snake. I made an MMO, an RPG game system, because that was like what we could build. I've played with Firefly as well, with banners, ads, and Dreamweaver and things. I'm old. I'm old enough to remember. And Sketch is not making a big comeback, but it is making a slight comeback, yes. If you are missing Flash, what people are saying, I disagree, but maybe you would agree. Rive is the alternative. Um, because Rive right now, for some people that used to play with Flash in the past, are saying that it feels like the good old days of Flash. So, yeah. I'm 31, I think. Yes. Lottie files are not that good. I don't like them. But that's just me. Don't worry about it. Macau was nice, but also it um, it it died. Like uh, this one, got it. To me, Macau, I don't, yeah, Macau, the parrot was interesting, and it was some sort of a Webflow before Webflow, and Framer before Web Framer. But before, or because at the same time we had, at least for me, we had Blocks, and the Blocks app is basically the same. Like, we have something that is very, very similar. So it, to me, this one was better. Um, but not that much. Okay, not that much. But there has been like a lot. There was like a Pine. Yeah, the Pine Grow. Yep, that's the one. Pine Grow was a very similar one to current Webflow, specifically in the beginning. And there was another one that I forgot. Um, um, I am 15, yes. Don't say that though. Don't say you're underage, otherwise, Twitch has a tendency of yanking people off the chance. So, yeah. I mean, again, there has been so fucking many website builders that just existed and got brought up and then died and so on. Um, so it's a lot of things. And then we moved on to a system of web-based at the same, like, the same system. You had card for the website builder. You had card with a QU, which was really nice. You had this one that was another card version that was pretty good. And yeah, it's just it made sense. it made sense. Cards were really good though for what it did and how good it was. Going back Roskies from what you're building right now. Cards was an option to get the plugin for WordPress, as far as I remember. It basically gives you pre-made templates of what you could do, or not what you could do, but like pre-made elements. And it was good. It's pretty useful. Webflow is kind of not my vibe. I really have had the worst time in all of these tools that I've been mentioning like for the past 15 minutes. I've had the worst time with WordPress and Webflow in general. The main reason for the worst time is mainly because it's just so close to code that it is faster and better to work with the code. So if you know how a class works in CSS, then doing a class in CSS in Webflow is shit. And it's so annoying. And you shouldn't be or have to think that much. And so that's why like Framer for me makes more sense. But the more I've been working in Framer, the more I'm like, well, even then, Framer is not that good. It's fine, but it's not that good. So, you know, eh, yeah. I don't think WordPress can survive as a company. I think WordPress will survive as an open source system, but not as a company anymore. Like I don't think that's a viable situation for them. And I I don't remember. I forgot the fucking name. There is a company that had that was known for a specific product, and then they kind of failed because someone else came into play, and then once that was done, they decided to basically entirely pivot to something that is better and that worked for their target. I forgot the company, but that's the thing that I think WordPress should do. Yeah, I mean, it's a conglomerate of open source license thing. And it's like, if you want to host it, it's free. If you want to have them host, it's not free. It's the usual thing. So, yeah. And yes, also, that's the thing. The issue that I have with Blocks, the app that I like the most, is because it it is using Bootstrap latest versions of Bootstrap 4, 5. I forgot. It's been a while, and they could change that to Tailwind in the background, but it would take them too much. I feel like, so they're not doing it, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I forgot the company, Kane. I remember the story of the company itself and the fact that they just basically they did the whole system and they said, fuck it, we are not good enough. Let's just focus on the thing that we're good at, which happens often. And then they kind of sustained themselves for a bit, but they still died at the end. So I forgot. I forgot. But yeah, that's the thing. I have saved, or at least I think I did, some very good titties, as always, but also some very good illustration, like these. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That's a bit of a one of the latest thing, but that transition is really cool as a concept. Just going through this rotation is a very simple thing, but I feel like this is an interesting thing to have. Going back to what I was talking about here, this thing is really cool. Um, yeah, I mean, that makes so much sense, though. I need to be there when I'm saying this. Tumblr was amazing and supported because of porn. That's it. And when they got acquired for 1 billion, the acquirer said the porn is not available anymore. And therefore the fucking thing died. And then they sold. And when they sold, they were like, well, porn is available now. And now it's back up. Who would have thought? Like, I'm getting notifications of porn accounts that are following my account. It's not worth 1 billion because we all left. Like, I don't think I can show you my Tumblr dashboard anymore. For no reason. No reason. Let me see, can I do that? It's kind of safe. It's kind of safe. God damn, it's crazy. They have something that is really minimalistic and good. Overall, the system is very simple. You just have a feed, which is making sense, and you just repost or reblog or like and so on, and that's about it. And this is all that the people are asking for and looking for and so on. And it's well made. But it's just you know, now they need to have this, which never existed before. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. These 3 activities are porn account just following me. You know. I don't think they have any chances though. That's the other thing. I don't think they would be as big as they used to, and I don't think they could retrieve or reacquire the people they left. Nope, they lost the people they lost because the algorithmic system doesn't work the same anymore. So anything that we are used to today, like this one that I'm looking at with its Chancer, which gives me exactly what I'm looking for. Specifically, this is my liked type. So obviously, titties and other things right now because I'm working on a perfume app that has some flowers. I'm getting a lot of flowers related themed elements because that's what I'm looking at. It makes a lot of sense. But all of that is way different than what Tumblr is. Tumblr doesn't have any by the way, kit is for you, Tiki. Any really good algorithmic things. Basically, it is just you follow someone and then you see their feed and they repost things and you see what they have reposted. At least that was the thing, which is what some people are trying to get back to because they feel like the algorithmic section is not necessarily good. But yeah. So yeah, this one was for you specifically because you talked about having this mascot thing, and they did have that in some pages. Not all the pages, but like some of the pages have the teeny tiny mascot, which I think is pretty good. And I have another one which is somewhere in there, in between titties, that is similar-ish, that has like a I would say a similar feel to what you're trying to achieve. And I feel like that might be a good option for you to get as an inspiration block. Like we've had these, which are really cute um, for mascots. As said, I love these. I love these stars that they are doing. They are doing a very good job for this. And, it's just small stuff. But can I find the thing? These ones is mostly for me because that looks like my app icon, which I like. But they have like a simplistic illustration system. So they use that blurred element. Yeah. You sent the link twice? Did I click on it? No, that was the... I'm gonna click on everything. No, you didn't. Oh, you did. My bad. That's on me. That's on me. This is cute. This is a very interesting take. It's different than what I was expecting because it's a rabbit and an eagle. So I was expecting a cat. I feel like these are cute. They are very interesting in terms of what they can do. These ones are pretty interesting as well. The cut is neat. It is not for Kyoto, I see. So it's for something different. I don't like this one because it doesn't have a nose. But that's me. And this one is really nice. I feel like this makes sense. I could say if you just wanted something weird, one of these, just have the ear folded. Just one. Like maybe not the center one because that's too obvious, but like maybe this one or that one. Just have one ear just flopped for interesting background stuff, like Where's Waldo situation things. But no, the eagles are really cool. I feel like there is something about it that makes sense. And the shape, I like as I say the shape. The shape is really nice. Even with the helmet. It's really similar. So the thing that I wanted to pinpoint on this one is like they are using the shapes with just the face. And the shapes are kind of abstract, but as long as the face, eyes, and mouth are like in there, you recognize that as the mascot. So that's the interesting point. But we had like another one, like these ones, but that's not the one that I have in mind. So much ass, god damn it. Did I just pass it? I may have. These might be on your vibe. You know? Maybe. I don't know. I like this one a little bit. That's more for me than for you. Did I save that somewhere else? Yeah, no, Kit was the main one that I had for you specifically. And it made more sense. But I think that's about it on this one. Right, this one doesn't have... Yeah, this one doesn't have any mascot. As far as my brain remembers, doesn't remember much, but yeah. Anyways. But these are really cool. I like them. I would need to know more about the project to be able to give like real feedback on what could work and where they would be used and so on. But so far, that's pretty cool. So far, that is pretty cool. That is threads, which is different. Moving on. We still haven't scrolled through this entire thing. This one was kind of funny to me because that just practice, then that's good. Client said, I want my design very crisp, and they said that they delivered KFC level crisp. Or crispy, sorry. I would disagree. But I don't think KFC is crispy in any way, shape, or form. And most of the time for me, every time I had KFC, I'm like, this is not crispy in the slightest. It's just all right, but it doesn't crunch like Korean fried chicken or, Anyways, I'm just making fun of the KFC, not the thing. The thing is really cool. They have like a very slight detail that you may be able to spot, and it goes similar to some of the version of iOS 7 release candidate, I think, where we had, and that was like a long time ago, the gradient from white to a slight gray in the thumb of the sliders to give you like that kind of embossed-ish convex situation, and then it's concave on the green section and it's convex on the gray section because they just flipped the thing. It's really nice. They did a great job in the coloring, and we do like it. So, that happens. That happens. We've had other weird ass thing. I needed to talk about this. I made an app, right, that has an icon that is very similar. Michal is doing an app that has an icon that is way similar. I found 16 different apps that are using this pattern of radial and gradient blur. And so since Figma and other tools have been adding progressive blur, we've been having a lot more people trying and adding this to their content. So I feel like this is worth a pattern situation. I feel like this is a pattern by now, but yeah, just wanted to mention, because not the only one. These were cute. That's it. It's a cat. I have like, I think four or five cats on the feed until the top. And this is one of them. It's a very cute cat. It's a very cute cat. There was other thing for radial elements. This one was fun, but not that fun. The mesh gradient is the thing that I was looking for this one, but they have something that I love. They have like a ton of very, very small and slight micro interaction. What they have most is particles, and so if you look closely at any of the background sections, you will see some particles here and there for most of their things, and they are really good. There is so much small details on these designs that you end up with like, I feel a bit of an overwhelming feeling where there is too much happening and it shouldn't be happening, but also the video is kind of fast and you are not missing things, but you are kind of missing things. So yeah, other than that, it's a nice green. Green is the new color that people are going for, so that makes sense. Um, this one was crazy. I liked many posts of this. This is the newest rendering of a 3D modeling app for the Apple Vision Pro. It looks amazing. It looks really powerful based on what we can see in this demo, obviously. But it's really nice. I like hot pink as well, but it's just less marketable to the masses. So depending on your target audience, you might be able to get away with if it's not like that visible, but if it is, you might have some issues. But yeah, no, I agree. I would go pink as well. This one was really nice as well to show you what goes into the creation of an AI orb thingy with basically simply 4 or 5 layers. You can end up with something that is pretty cool. This one, I disagree, but I'm fine with it. Most of these things are just like multiple layers, like 3 layers, 4 layers, 2 layers, and then they're just on top of each other with blending mode and so on. There are stuff in there that could be better, could be worked on. I would have some textures based on Figma textures, newer like noise and dispersion and so on these two to make them less of a regular star in the center, but nonetheless it works really well. So cool to see. Going back to what I was saying earlier with the vibrancy acid color, this one is an acid green yellow thing, and then these colors for the blue and the purple are the kind of trend thing. So that's interesting. It makes sense. I was blown away by this. Apparently, if you are in Britain, in Great Britain, in England, you now have this magnificent coin, and this is the £1 coin, and it looks amazing. And I wish I could have that. It's not like rare or anything, apparently. But then when I looked at the replies and some of the other coins that exist, I love this. It is just such a nice shape and such a nice design overall that I like it. This one is really cool. It took me a bit of time to figure out what was on the coin. But like this is really cool. I like the shape because it's not like uh brain. That's a septagon, I guess. Heptagon? Heptagon is 8. Septagon? I guess septagon. Maybe, I don't know. I like the shape, that's all. That's about it. So yeah, I moved on to this. Enjoy the cats. As always. Nothing else to say. Like, that's me shrimping when I'm waiting for Cursor to do the code for me. Because, you know, I can't really do anything else. Isn't Octa 8? And that's 7? Well, that was 7. Yeah, kinda. The builds are really good. I agree. This one made me laugh, and I picked it for a specific reason. You see this? See this thing right there? I think I did that right about here. I think that's where it is. You see that that isn't this the same? It's not, but it's really interesting to see that they are like a flowery thing right there. But then for me specifically, I'm getting um, the same colors and the same drop, I would say, on this, because we are using extract of perfume, so it's extract or whatever. And my idea was to have this with kind of that design of liquid gold situation, and they done something very similar. So yeah, that's fun. That is fun. Um, ooh, that's interesting. I feel like this is uh impractical, but I get it. If it's like a shield for the entire thing, that's really cool. Um, yes, they are really pretty. I don't know how they did it. I wish I did. I wish I did, because it's pretty nice. Yeah, that's a nice shield overall. It's a good concept. Yeah, it does. It does fall into the bottle thing, and so that's why I wanted to have like less or more of a flower shaped things. But yeah, maybe using the P itself. I was thinking about that at some point. Was also thinking about like the animation, as I said before, like how could the P be sprayed on? But couldn't figure it out, not yet. So, but yeah, I do agree that this is pulsating, pulsating. Nonetheless, that was cool. That was a cool thing. We talked about stickers last time, and these ones dropped in, and I liked their presentation of the stickers themselves in the grid. I feel like this is a pretty cool presentation, and this one, the breakthrough one, has this curved paper thing, which is interesting. They do have one issue, or I do have one issue with it, but that's because I'm annoying. If you think about it, if the beginning of the fucking page is going straight up, the end cannot have the same curve. It needs to be flatter, going further out if it needs to be like a diagonal, or if this one is straight and going up, this one cannot, or if it goes up, this thing cannot be that straight, aligned with the line that is right here. I'm just annoying, but yeah, um, that's the thing. Can you point me to the component with the card shine? I don't think I can. What you talking about? This? What do you mean the card shine? That's gonna be my question. Um oh, that. I guess it's time for a lesson. If you're here, and you probably are, you can use Control or Command or something to find where that is in the file, and you should be able to get just access to that. So here you have the component itself, which is underneath, which doesn't have any shine on it, and you should be able to go to main component on the top right, and so from there you would see the content. The thing is, there is no shine added on top of that. If you want me to add said shine so that you can extract it, I can. Yeah, but because it's the screenshot compared, you have it underneath. That's the thing. But yeah, if you need the rest, or if you want the shine itself, I can add the shine if it's necessary to you. But otherwise, all the shine itself is basically just gonna be a white layer with a gradient. That's it. Nothing else. Like I think what I did was a very basic interaction, just like this. I may have done that as a radial. Knowing me, I might have just done that as a radial instead. Let me check if we just do that. have a good ADHD away. Yeah, I feel like that's a potential option. If you want addition things, you know. Dang. Don't do that though. That's really bad. Yeah, it's just if you say lurk and then the first word is gonna be your name. Well, that's just the first thing then. It's just the radial on top. So if you just need this as an extraction and you want that as an image, that's gonna be the thing that you need to say. I would personally have that as a CSS property. And it's basically just a radial gradient from top left brain, from top left to bottom right, with 0% around here and 20% at the top. There. Moving on. This one was nice. It's a very subtle difference compared to the usual AI-related gradient. However, it is too static, and there is the need for a bit more transition in between the yellow going into the green and the blue going into the purple and so on, so that it sparkles more. But it's a nice button. It has a bit of glass, and we do like it. So, yeah. That's me. Shit. Going back to this one was pretty interesting. They are doing the same tabbed like card things, and I like what they have said here. I don't know why people liked this so much, but it brought me 5 clients. I think this is really good. Um, I'll make it 8% then. Make it 8%. There.
In the beginning, there was man, and for a time, it was good.
Is it live? Can I see the things? I doubt it.
Called civil society
Um,
soon fell victim to vanity
the
and corruption. Then man made the machine.
interesting. Um,
Thus did man become the architect of his own demise.
this one was interesting. For 2 reasons.
Did I fall asleep?
What they said here, and I agree with the reply that is above that I've hidden right now. Product Hunt is overrated. So they launched on Product Hunt. They had like 800 downloads or something, or 800 visits on their website or apps or something. I don't fucking know. And then they made a post on Reddit that bring them 1,200 people, which makes sense, right? In my own day-to-day ability things, it is the same. And so I do agree that Reddit might have a bit of bigger reach if you make a post that resonate with the people that you are kind of targeting. But this is pretty interesting. They are saying that this is a sign of a broken product if your numbers go back to normal after a big launch. I agree, but I also disagree in a way that this launch thing is the marketing point where you do the most marketing things in order to get the most people interested in your content and your product. So there will be a spike for sure. It will go back down, and the broken product and the fact that it's going back down is probably based on 2 things. You are not communicating about the product again until this, or not that much, or the product is broken, and therefore once the people have like downloaded it, they don't talk about it to other people in the community, in the circles that they have, and so on. So that is a potential of a broken product, but it's also a potential metrics of you are not talking about your product often, you are not marketing your product often. At the end of the day, this is traffic, so it means that it's just people that are going to the website or going to something else related to their project, product, whatever. In which case, it makes a lot of sense that the traffic is not necessarily like a static, stagnant-ish, but constant flux of people. It has ups and downs. And if that was the first day, the fact that they have like a post in December and then they have a post in January and they probably had a post in like January 15th, for reference and so on, I'm expecting multiple spikes. But yeah, that's I was just talking about it. Just that. Just that. If you've seen that, you are old enough. If you're not, that's you don't know what that is. Then you missed something. Probably missed something. Going back up. This one was really cool. I feel like was every time that Rasmus is doing some product, it turns out really nice. This is a very cool colorway for the iPhone 17 Pro. I don't think any D-brand skin could be able to do that, but it potentially could. It is really nice though. Not gonna lie, I do like it a lot. So, interesting, good to see, whatever. The usual. Moving on. We have some very small things, tiny illustration. I liked all of their fucking posts. It's a bit annoying because they are all really good, and now that I know how they are created, I like it more. Um, and yeah, not gonna say anything. Not gonna say anything. One of the things that I'm thinking about, by the way, I'm thinking about that when I'm looking here. These are roughly like onboarding screens and so on. The more I think about my current onboarding on Prefume, the least I want it to be there. And I have a feeling, I don't know if it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, but I have a feeling that if you loaded the app for the first time in your life and you ended up on this screen in its like empty states situation, and just empty, just nothing's there, but it loads, you would probably be able to understand what to do and how to do things based on said section. So if I just go in there to show you, maybe, I don't know if these ones are the empty or if they are not. I think there is two on this one. Yeah, so you would start with something that is similar to this, which doesn't have really icons. There is a bit of better text, and you have like 1 and 2 in the array to select from. And so I feel like this would be pretty good to, give you an understanding or a hint or something else. And right now, I'm still working on the design itself. But right now, this is what you would have in said card with the start your journey, the add your first perfume to get personalized recommendation, discover your signature scent. And then there will be like this plus icon in the entire card in the background in where the perfume bottles would be. And I feel like this is a call to action that is good enough at this point for interest and or making sure that it just looks nice and it's intriguing enough. And then because it is interactive and you would be able to touch the thing and just play with it, you should be good enough to understand what you can do. So I'm really thinking about removing the onboarding just because it would make more sense to me to let you play with the app to understand how it kind of works without having to explain it to you in the first 3 screens and say, this is what the app is doing. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking we'll see. It will be not for right now, but in the soon department, that would happen. That one was for Yan as well, specifically for the Zoom transition and what happens, but also because I can't figure it out, and I know he can. So, yeah. Um, yeah, that's. I think this one is the last one that I saw today about this kind of ASCII dithering effect, and this one is used on the logo, on the sphere specifically. So it's interesting. It's nice. I don't know if it's something that would make sense for the long term, but it's there. So it happens. It happened. Um, oh yeah. Also, then I see. I see. I see. Yeah, it would be nice though. It would be nice, but no. But no. Why am I logged out? Why is me logged out? Am I free to go to um the page in question, Stony? I don't want to leak names, you know. Not that I care, but you know, I know you do. So good choice, by the way. These two right there. Yes, app dash dev. You know what? I can do that for security reasons. And your security reason is securityed. So yeah, that's yeah, that happens. Yes. That's good. I do like this though. Is that good enough for you for that light? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Ha. At the end of the day, it's going to be the user profile, right? The profile picture. So you can't really have something that is different based on the theme. So it's going to be the same thing every time. So that you're kind of good with it. But it's nice. I think it's nice. If it's good for you, it's good for me. It doesn't really bother me in any way. The only thing that is potentially bothering from a me point of view, you know, is since we have the highlight of the card, which is at the top and not in the corner, it might make more sense if the center of the radial gradient was around here, so that you have something that is like from the center, top center, to bottom center plus 80 or something. So it gives you like a nice diffused 90-degree top down situation. But it might be more boring than what you have now. So depending on what you like, what you want to have, you know, maybe test both. But they are options. It's just based on that the highlight, and because this is like um, a card level situation. So yeah, I like this. It works. So yeah. In the meantime, though, I'm gonna be Holy shit. I have such a fat ass headache again. That's annoying. But you know, it's pretty nice. I don't know if that's me or if that's just Twitch today. It seems we have such a massive delay between the stream and the reality of things. So that's wild. That is wild. Anything else you wanted me to take a look at? I feel like you said I have something on Friday and then I forgot about it. I don't know why. I feel like you asked for something and I missed it. Is that the case? Yeah, we did. Yeah, there is a fat ass delay. That's crazy though. I don't really understand why there is such a delay because I'm not adding a delay in there. Like I'm making sure that it's on point, but no. It's weird. It is weird. It's fine though. You know, it happens. It happens. But you know, I have memories of you saying something, and I was like, "Is this something that you know?" That's crazy. But yeah, other than that, you know, I saw that you sent me something, and yeah. Ah, thank you for that. Appreciate it for that regex things for Discord. Oh, so basically, is if it is followed by a username. I see. Appreciate it though. I appreciate it. That's crazy. It's 2 new people in the Discord. I appreciate it. Welcome in. Welcome in the Discord. Oh, so. Yeah, you don't remember? Cool. Well, that's fine. That is fine. I think I have one thing. Brain is telling me something, but then obviously I can't find the thing in question. I saved more stuff, obviously, for some of the activities, some of the things that are available and that becomes or are starting to become some sort of a pattern E thing. And the app that I used yesterday that I showcased, which is called like B-roll, is one of these things where it makes me doubt my capacity as a dev, which is good because I don't have any. But it's like I installed it and it just it felt good and it felt right when it came to the micro interactions and the transition that they have made in between screens. And I know that I'm lacking in micro interaction when I'm building the apps that I'm building. And that is one of the things why I need to get better. I need to understand better how things can make better visual transitions, even though I know how to make transitions in motion graphics and so on. It's just like in code, it is way harder for me and for my brain right now. I have still a good understanding, but it's just, you know, Um, yeah. Um, things. The main things. Other than that, that's where we are. So we have like the sync system that is pretty okay, and it's probably going to be pretty good soon, which means that if all goes well, I should have the app releasable. Roughly, I would think end of the month, beginning of next month, to be able to have that in like in test flight for beta. So we'll see if that happens. I hope so. Because I'm just missing this. I mean, just missing this thing. Not really. I'm missing this sync system, but I'm also, most importantly, missing the admin dashboard for me to manage the database. Because right now that's not the case, and the database that we have is kind of shit. But today I made the database sync system, so I can sync the data from the database to the user base, which is fine. That was the goal, but I can't yet sync the user data to the database for themselves. Like the CloudKit container is not necessarily something I can do. So we'll see what I can figure that out. That's for the soon department, or as soon as I can department. But yeah, the usual. The usual. I'm doing my best. It's taking time. It's taking time. And it's also things that I have a very hard time with. So it's hard. But yeah, however, I have such a fat ass headache that I need to find someone to raid though. That's kind of sad, I know. That's a very shorter stream, but like the piercing headache in the back of my head is no good. So, I know that James is live. Do we have anyone that we know, Stony, that is currently available that we haven't seen before other than Vash? Vash is the last one that we have. I can't find much. Oh, James is not live anymore. BitGamey. Wild. I don't think we've been there before. Let's go there. Let's go there. God damn, that hurts. That hurts. Alright, they just turned into a hot dog, so that's fun. I hope that stays until the raid happens. It didn't, god damn it. As always, thanks a lot for being here. The VOD is going to be on YouTube if you want to watch it again. If you have a question and I'm not live, as always, join the Discord. That will be highly appreciated. And yeah, if you want to stalk me on socials, you can go there. I haven't done that and said that in a while. This was a very shorter one. I know if you want to learn Japanese, as always, that's pretty good. And if for some reason you want to give me some money, you can sub here. But you know,
Mom?
you like it is a bit better than anything else. So yeah, join the raid to get some points. Points be good. And yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday. This week it's kind of weird to have like a full week, but we'll see what we can do, and I'll give you some updates with the updates of the perfume app. If it's done, it's done. If it's not, it's not. I don't know yet. We'll see. But yeah, I hope the Wednesday stream is gonna have less delay. So yeah, as always, take care of yourself. Eat something, drink something, be kind to each other, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.